So Jimmy Buffett, we learned, passed away yesterday, I believe at the age of 76. I don't see many videos, at least in the vinyl community, about Jimmy Buffett. And I actually, on my last video, talked about a record of his that I really love, A1A, which I'll talk a little bit about here. But Jimmy Buffett, to me, was sort of like an artist who reminded you not to take the arts so seriously and like to enjoy and have fun. And that's essentially, music's there for a million things to help you when you're having a hard time, to mirror you in your most joyous moments, and just to help you get through the day sometimes. But Jimmy Buffett was an experience. When I look at my arc in terms of music, I think it's sort of before Uncle Tupelo and after Uncle Tupelo. So I discovered Uncle Tupelo in 1994, and that's when this all happened. I mean, I had a bunch of records before 94, but it was mostly, Springsteen, Neil Young, Creedence, Beach Boys, Otis Redding, sort of the classics. And then I discovered Uncle Tupelo, and I moved into indie rock and alt country, Americana. But Jimmy Buffett was the pre-Uncle Tupelo, just prior to Uncle Tupelo. So I grew up in northern New Jersey, and my town, or at least the friends that I hung out with in high school, so high school was 89 to 92 or 88 to 92. Jimmy Buffett was near the top in terms of who we listened to. We listened, again, a lot of classic rock, a lot of Grateful Dead. A bunch of my friends were the folks that went to those, sort of travel around with the Dead. And there was a little bit of metal. I never got into metal, really. But Jimmy Buffett was sort of our party go-to. And Jimmy Buffett, sorry, I don't know why I keep saying his name, has held a very dear spot to me because of my friend George, who was the biggest Jimmy Buffett fan I've ever known, probably until I met my buddy Jeff out here. And my buddy George died tragically 11 years ago. I believe it was 2012, in a car accident. And whenever I hear Jimmy Buffett, I think of him. I've made numerous Jimmy Buffett mix playlists. I was about to say mixed CDs. Let's see, it's taking me back to that time. And it just reminds me of my buddy George and my buddy Bob. We probably saw George probably saw Jimmy Buffett 40, 50 times. I saw Jimmy Buffett, I'm guessing between 5 and 10 times, between probably 1990 and 95. Always just a wonderful time. I saw him at a few venues, but the repeat venue was what was then called the Garden State Art Center in Holmdel, New Jersey. I think it's called the PNC, or maybe it's changed names again. But those were absolute events. We would get there at like 10, 11 in the morning, tons of coolers, tons of food, really wide range of friends. The group that I hung out with, folks in the class younger than us, class older than us, we would tailgate all day, listen to Jimmy Buffett songs, and then go in, and it was just such a blast. And as I get older and music, your tastes sort of change. I've talked about how I've started listening to the Eagles again. I'm really back into classic rock. I listened to a lot of it, a lot of stuff that I sort of scoffed at when I was, an alt country or indie rock snob. But I don't anymore. And I think a lot of that comes from my brother Lane, and his attitude towards music. He was a snob like me, but he he almost had no pretension at the same time. Is that the right word? I always use that word, and I don't know if I use it. I know pretentious, but pretend. Um, Lane loved what he loved. He didn't care if it was cool. And Jimmy Buffett, Lane was a huge fan. I have Lane's mix, I said it again, playlist on Spotify, and I believe there's a number of Jimmy Buffett ones. So just by way of records, I have like 7 or 8 Jimmy Buffett records. This is a really good one. Changes in latitudes, changes in attitudes. It's got a number of really good songs on it. Landfall, Banana Republics, the title track. Then Havana Daydreaming, or Daydreamin'. Also a really good one. Kick It In, Second Wind. I forgot about that song. Havana Daydreamin' is great. And then his best, in my opinion, I don't think it's even close, is A1A. This is a great record. Top to bottom. Close to a 5-star record. I would highly recommend, if you have never have, checking that out. The song Migration, I remember I used to always put it on every mixtape and CD I made back in the day. I love that song so much. I still do. I'm going to be listening to Jimmy Buffett all weekend. So I just wanted to do a short video to recognize somebody. When I always say when I discovered Uncle Tupelo in 1994, that's when music sort of became my life. But Neil Young, Springsteen, Dylan, Jimmy Buffett were the sort of precursors to that, and they sort of paved the way for this to all take over, and I'm so grateful. Excuse me, buddy Jeff, for continuing to, or for, in the case of George, obviously he's not here anymore, but for giving me the music of Jimmy Buffett, which has given me so many wonderful, fun, joyous memories. It's sad, when we're starting to see a lot of the greats pass away. So I will close with, and I know I've shared this before, I saw Elvis Costello speak at South by Southwest maybe 10, 15 years ago. And he was talking about live music. And again, I've shared this many times, but I think this is worth repeating. And he said, if a band you love is coming through your town, see them. Get up off the couch or whatever you're doing. And as long as, you can find, everybody's got a different situation, kids and marriages and such. But he said, you may never get another chance. That band may break up, or somebody may pass away, or a whole host of things could happen, and you may never get that opportunity again. I really wish I saw Jimmy Buffett again. Jeff and I were talking about seeing him, and I just never got around to it, and I wish I had. But to Jimmy Buffett, I don't know, to Jimmy Buffett fans, you guys are a blast. I had such a good time, and Jimmy Buffett just seemed like a good person too. So thanks for all the music, and I will be putting on A1A right now. Have a good weekend, everyone.